McDonough. No icing. Down to 5. Puck comes out to McDonough. Has the game on his stick. Oh! What a block in front by Pollock. The Islanders win game 4.
You know, now it's a best of 3. I think you have to look ahead. You have to move forward. This game, you can't change anything now. So we gotta try to learn from our mistakes. Be ready to play a full 60 minutes. We get that home ice back, and we gotta use it to our advantage.
I have complete and utter confidence that they can close the series out. Do you want to be just like every other team and win one and be done? Or do you want to become special?
Welcome to We. Damn it. The Thunder. I am Shooter. We got the stash here. We got Thomas Schooley, and we have a 3-2 overtime loss. The Bolts lose after going up 2-0 in Game 6, and they do not shut down the Nassau Coliseum. We're going to do a drawing today, of course, so make sure you get your comments in. Let us know what you thought happened. The hashtag today is Be the Thunder. That's the name of the show. By the way, if you're out there, give us a like, share the show with your friends so they can come join. We're not going to cry too much on this show, but the stash is ready to unload. I got some things I want to get off my chest, and we want to hear it in the comments too. So, guys, first thoughts before we break this game down.
I mean, I don't know where to start, to be honest with you. I really don't. I want to start with that Cirelli goal because, man, weren't we all just like, I mean, fuck yeah, like, right? That was all of us. Fuck yeah. That was like when Cirelli scored that second goal, it was fucking done, right? We had a 2-goal lead. We were fucking crushing it coming out of second. And then what do? We win whenever we have a lead coming out of the second period, right? What do? That's what we do. That's Lightning hockey. And then suddenly, this team that has been playing desperate hockey essentially for the last 3 series, going down 2-1 in the last 2 series, they know what it's like to be here, and they showed more in that last 20 some odd minutes of the hockey that they knew how to play better desperate hockey. And I mean, we can talk about the Kucherov hit right away, and that sucked, but we still scored 2 goals without him. I don't think, I mean, that sucks, and we need him back. No, we need him back. But to me, and I texted you, or we were, messaging in our little thread between during the game. I think Chernak really showed up. Missing Chernak really showed up here late in the game. And that was a big deal, but the Islanders just played more desperate down the stretch, and the Lightning were too safe, and we all know what that means in this show, right? We know what safe is in this show.
A 3-2 overtime loss or death.
Yep.
Some negatives from this game. First time a team has scored and lost the game.
Yeah, they scored first.
First time Vasi didn't get it wasn't a deciding and never finished out.
More.
But here's something to go on for next one. We haven't lost 2 games in a row.
Boom. That's the best.
Braden Point, he scored his 9th game in a row, looking for number 10 to tie the record the next game. So he's going to be shooting to try to tie that record, and they're going to be feeding him to try to tie that record. So you got to believe that Point's going to be shooting on that net all next game. And both teams are going to be desperate next game. You didn't see that from the Lightning tonight. So now you're going to have both teams desperate, and you're going to have the fans of the Tampa Bay Lightning now chanting and cheering and being the extra skater there on the ice.
Right. Okay. So, and just to piggyback, because this is the thing that I thought right away at the end of this game is that I haven't been scared for a long time as a Lightning fan. And now I'm thinking about a Game 7 desperation game. And when's the last time the Lightning had to play desperate hockey?
When they got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Right. They haven't.
It didn't go well, by the way.
In a very, very long time. Very long time. So now, does this team know how to go back and remember truly what desperate hockey means, and to go back and look at that last game and say, okay, there are things that we could have continued to do that we didn't, regardless of how well the Islanders play and how physical they play and how aggressive they get. And you saw, sure, there was a lot of turnovers from the Lightning, but they created a lot of turnovers from their pressure, the Islanders did. But I think a lot of it is just, again, the Lightning have this way of somehow being indecisive, and that first half a second, then extra half a second decision, right? And when the Lightning make that decision in the first second to 1.25 seconds, right? Second and a quarter, whatever that's whenever they're at their best. When they get to that second and a half to 1.75 seconds, that's whenever they allow that team that because that's a razor's edge. It's a half a second difference in the playoffs, maybe even less, maybe even 0.3 of a second, right? That's the difference between this team dominating and then this team turning the puck over and giving the other team opportunities. And that's what I saw towards the end of that second period or the third period.
Yeah, I think they need to go back and look at this game, but I think some of the core members of this team need to go back to previous years, because we've blown 3-2, 3 games to 2 leads in the conference finals twice in the past 5 years. So I think, captain needs to stand up there. A lot of those guys were still on this roster, and they need to remember what it felt like to blow that lead, because they just blew a 2-goal lead with, less than half the game left. I mean, that's not the Bolts from last year. So
that's not Bolts hockey at all.
We'll see what happens. But let's break it down. Everyone, make sure you add hashtag We the Thunder. We're going to give out a SMACK Apparel Shirt tonight, even though the Bolts let us down. So tonight,
SMACK Apparel has not let us down.
They have not.
That's the second part of that promo that he forgot to mention. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
They never do. But yeah, so we talked about it. Shen was back in. Chernak's out still. Barzell obviously played tonight. A little bit less money in his bank account, but I think we kind of expected him to be back. It would have been nice if he wasn't back, because we ended up losing our star player for the game. No real changes for New York in the lineup, which was kind of a surprise, but Trotz stuck to his guns with the same lineup. And, going into the game confident, knowing that Vasi has not given up a goal in 3 straight series that were series-ending games. So early in the game, let's bring it up. It was the first thing that happened in the game. And actually, before we bring up the video of what happened, let's bring up the stats sheet of what happened, as NBC talks about the star player for the Bolts and throws up this graphic about how he's about to break records from Wayne Gretzky. Less than 5 minutes later, we see him cross-checked in the ribs in the back
from behind and
taken out of the game. No call. Referee right in front of the play. And if that's not a bad omen, I don't know what is. But here it is.
Same ref who also missed a big call in the Knights Montreal game on Sunday. And it was on video. He was looking at that play also.
Well, here he is. And here's the play right in front of him. By the way, star player about to eclipse Wayne Gretzky, NHL. And this is how you treat your star players. Out for the game. No call. Referees just kind of looking at it. Anyway, I don't want to be the show that just complains about the refs. The Lightning had plenty of chances to win this game. Should have won the game. But right there, I mean, just right off the bat, not a good sign to lose, arguably one of your best players. So Lightning came out, I think, in the first period.
We'll get into this. Yes. Go ahead.
With less energy. I thought the Islanders were playing better all game. They were playing with more energy. I thought we were going to have stick gate for a while in that first period because Brock Nelson broke his stick at one point, and it must have been out there sitting in the Bolts zone for like a good 5 or 6 minutes before anyone did anything. Once again, the rest, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Just let that stick sit there and let something happen. But it didn't. Nothing really happened.
Because the boards and the ice and the glass aren't bad enough at the fucking Coliseum, right?
I know. How many times again?
2 whole sticks of the fucking 2 parts of the sticks right below the goal line. For 5 minutes at least? Come on.
Yeah, it wasn't the stick. It wasn't the boards, though, that beat the Lightning. It was their own turnovers. Again, the only thing that ever beats us is ourselves, and the same thing tonight. So, we saw Cooch got cross-checked. We didn't see that at first. They were kind of playing the narrative that he was going after Barzell and just like no contact injury, but then we saw the Cooch.
They wanted to make it him. They wanted to make, he was going for the hit on Barzell retaliation, right? First of all, yes. He should be.
No, he should not. Why is he the guy retaliating?
Well, I'm not saying that he should. I'm saying anybody should on that team. Everybody should. Not just one guy. Everybody should have made Barzell pay tonight. Everybody. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
They try to make him the villain, and they try to make like he hurt himself. And then when they showed that he got cross-checked, they're like, cross-checks happen.
Yeah.
That was their fucking commentary on it. Cross-checks happen.
Yeah. Anyway, we scored a goal in the first period. Braden Point, 9 straight, 1 away from tying the NHL record. I mean, that's the highlight of this game for sure for the Lightning. I was glad to see Braden score that 9th straight goal.
Also, somebody just got himself banned from my show.
James,
because my name is also in the title, so you can kiss Shooter's ass all you want. But if I don't let you come on, then I'm just kidding.
Well, Ty was also saying, I told you 7 games. I think 2 out of 3 of us said 7 games too, guys.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone was like, 7 games. Like, okay, cool, 7 games. So you know what? It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. You guys are just fucking, whoa, don't be proud. Don't be proud because the Islanders came out and dominated everything. No, the Lightning had this game in the fucking palm of their hand, and then suddenly they decided to say, oh, just kidding. You could fucking have it. So let's not get too brazen about that 7-game prediction. All right. I was halfway to my fucking 4-0 prediction. So what?
Well, listen, Ty also said this tonight. So if he's praising Coleman, then he's already.
Are you serious, Coleman? Oh my God!
Coleman had his worst game as a Bolt tonight.
He's already been drinking.
As a Bolt. Yes, that's crazy because Game 4 was his worst game as a Bolt, and then he came out in Game 6 and topped it.
I don't know what's going on with Pickles, but
Mrs. Dash was losing her mind over Pickles tonight, man. I can't even tell you over the whole game. Oh, you guys haven't seen her. You guys have Rob has seen her, Shooter seen her every once in a while. Watch hockey, but tonight, Mrs. Dash was in rare form. Let me tell you, she was screaming louder than me. She was yelling at players more than me. She was yelling at the referees more than me. She was muting the TV continuously because of the broadcast.
Where is she? How come she's not logged in here?
So Cooch says no update on Kucherov just now. So
it's not a good sign that he didn't come back.
No, it's not.
It's not a good sign at all. But We got here without Cooch. We can win the cup without Cooch too.
We need Cherney back. We need Chernak back for Game 7. I'm telling you right now. We can get through this series without Cooch. I don't know about getting through the future, but right now we can win Game 7. But we need Chernak back. And nothing to get Shen. It's just the way that they're able to rotate the depth. And hey, man, what a great game by Savard.
I think this whole series, Savard
is just again elevates as Coleman seems to be regressing in this series. Savard continues to elevate and prove exactly why we went and made that move to get him at the deadline. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives to take away from this game, but at the same time, that shot to Cooch, man. Ugh. We need Chernak back. That's all I'm saying. We need Chernak back.
Yeah. So first period ends 1-0. Crazy stat. The Islanders have not had a lead after the first period all playoffs.
Yeah.
And they made it this far and they won tonight. But period 2 starts. No Cooch. He doesn't come back. So at that point, you got to consider him out for the game. Barzal had a really good chance. Vasi, huge save off a Ruta turnover, or as NBC commentators call him, Rutu. Apparently is his name now. We've only been to the Stanley Cup Finals almost 2 straight years, and NBC still doesn't know our players' names.
Rutu. Connolly also allegedly is a guy that's on our team. Connolly. And you know what? There wasn't even a guy with the C in his name on the ice whenever he made that highlight reel there. Jonesy. 2 guys' names back to back in a national game, a nationally televised highlight reel. You don't know their freaking names, and you're supposed to be a freaking. I can't even. Man.
Yeah,
it was sad. It was sad.
2 injuries in that second period. Thankfully, they both came back, but we were already shorthanded. So, these guys are probably playing injured. It was Sergachev and Ross Colton. They did both come back in the same period, but both kind of late hits. Didn't look like anything serious, but hopefully they're going to be 100% for Game 7 because we're going to need all hands on deck. New York did get a penalty. Clutterbuck, stupid penalty, goes off for roughing. NBC really wanted Coleman off on that one. I don't know if you remember that, but Coleman did kind of throw a punch.
He got a good uppercut in there. I'm not going to
lie. That was the best should have been.
That was the best thing that Coleman did the entire game was that cheap shot uppercut. And I'm saying it. I'm a Lightning fan. I can say it. That was a cheap shot. Easily should have been a penalty. It was. Absolutely. I'll call it. But he didn't, and that's cool. But that was the best thing Coleman did all game was that little fucking uppercut. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, all right, the ref raises his hand. We're like less than a minute in, and Hedman gets called for a trip. I'm thinking it's a makeup call, but it's a legitimate trip. And then they call Sergachev like 40 seconds later, and I'm like, wait,
that's a 50-50 fucking play.
You already had the makeup call. Like, what was this? I didn't think that was a penalty. The NBC commentators said it was 2 guys going for the puck, and one fell down. He was behind Sergachev.
Yeah.
So I was pissed because they gave him a fucking 5-on-3.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that pisses me off. You said that they called it. There were 2 guys going for the puck. No, what I heard was said that's actually a tripping call. And then what did the referee call it? Actually, interference. He went for interference. So the national broadcast like, oh, that's a tripping call. Oh, is it really? You fucking fucktard? Because I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit free with the F-bombs. I normally don't on the show. I'm sorry. But listen, like I said, Mrs. Stash got me a little bit hyped up more than normal tonight. But, dude, how are you going to say that's a tripping call? And then they called interference right away. Like, I'm watching from home and see the call right away was interference. And yet the chucklehead calling it for like however millions of dollars he gets paid can't even see that it's interference. But he's like, oh, that's definitely a tripping call. I don't even have time for that.
Yeah. So it didn't matter. I mean, they had a good 5-on-3 for a good minute, probably. And
which again, they didn't talk about.
Penalty kill was phenomenal this entire game, really.
This whole series.
Yeah. And then so they kill it, and then the Bolts come back and they score one. Palat with a perfect. We're gonna call him Patient Palat. That should be the hashtag tonight. Patient Palat, but it's not. It's hashtag We the Thunder. So Palat gets it to Cirelli. Cirelli gets basically our only odd man rush of the game somehow after having 25 of them last game. We get one with Cirelli and he scores 5-hole. It was just really kind of a breakaway.
Was it Sorelli or was it Barzell from three games ago? As one of our watchers
did mention
pointed
that.
out, because that's what they said. They didn't really give Sorelli credit. They said, "Oh, it's just exactly what Barzell did." Oh, okay.
So at this point, though, Stash, it's 2-0.
Yeah.
We kill off a 5-on-3. We're halfway through this game.
Yeah,
We
if
fucking
you could have
lose
seen my
3-2 in
reaction to
overtime.
the Sorelli goal. Like, I don't know if I've ever been more like, like
I
was primal.
I thought-
was primal. That was it. It was dagger to me. That was dagger.
I thought there was no chance New York was coming
too.
back. I wasn't getting my toast ready yet, but I thought there was no chance they're coming back. And of course,
it's my fault. I didn't make a second whiskey drink because I was like, oh, I'm gonna, because I'm at the end and I didn't prepare. I normally do. I didn't prepare. So I was at the last 2 drinks of my whiskey bottle. I was like, oh, I got to keep one for the toast tonight. And in the back of my head, I was thinking, hey, we're halfway to that 4-0 victory I predicted. And then like a minute later, they scored. So
yeah, didn't take long. A 5-on-5 goal. Eberle, I got to give him credit for that. That was a nice backhand shot.
And let me tell you right now, both of their goals were freaking
Perfect.
Beautiful, perfect. Like the only way you beat the best in the world.
All 3 of their goals, even the overtime goal was nice.
No, the overtime goal was, I want to smack Coleman.
Yeah,
But
I
real
want
quick,
to punch a lot. Even the second goal, I would smack Coleman because it's his fault that he didn't fucking make the right play again going into our zone on the road. So go ahead, roll.
just
the fucking
coming
play.
out. Apparently, the reason they didn't. Apparently, the reason they didn't call the penalty on the Kucherov cross check is the official said he didn't think it was malicious. Cooper's statement is, I don't think malicious is in the rule book.
It's definitely not in the rule book. That's charging. It is malicious. Cross-checking is fucking cross-checking. It's taking 2 hands shoulder width apart and then using your stick to hit the other player. That is cross-checking.
Yeah, and the thing that sucks about that, we don't like to complain about the refs too much, but when you take out an elite top-level player who's about to break Gretzky records,
the best of the playoffs,
it changes the game. It changed the game. It did. Even though we had the 2-goal lead, New York scored, made it 2-1.
We got tired.
And from
and
there,
we got tired. And I will say that this team did get tired because Coop got creative. And when you talk about the second period, I think that was the biggest change, was having to rotate those guys on that first line and really not really know who was going to fill that top line, because they've gone 11-7 before, but it's been that fourth line and they know how to rotate that fourth line before, right? But whenever you lose your top guy and then you're trying to rotate in and out for that, Coop did a good job. He got creative. I mean, you saw Yanni was leading the way, I think, through 2 minutes with 2 periods, 16 minutes on ice. But really what happened is that overall, I think that team just got a little bit tired. And like I said to open the show, Islanders are playing desperate hockey. And I don't know how well the Lightning do playing desperate hockey on the road, down their best guy and arguably their best shutdown defenseman,
Yeah.
Well, like their best two-way defenseman behind Hedman, because Chernak really has started providing offense that he didn't provide, Chernak has been providing offense he didn't provide before, like especially last year's playoffs.
Here was the play of the second period for defensively for the Bolts. I thought the defense most of the game played really, really well, but this was the play of the game for sure by Savard defensively, and he stopped them from making it 2-2 at the end of the second period. We go back into intermission with it 2-1, but all the momentum's changed. Like you said, Stash, the Lightning started to look tired. This is when I had to turn off NBC's horrible commentary because they're calling all our players the wrong names. They don't even mention the Bolts killing a 5-on-3.
No.
I mean, I was just getting so frustrated. NBC Sports, you have about 2 weeks left. Then pack your shit and stay away from the NHL.
It was so funny because, listen, I'm getting it from you. And then Mrs. Stash, I'm telling you, like, she started muting the TV. And, like, I can't watch hockey with no sound. And no matter how bad the commentary is, I still can't here, like I can't miss the play-by-play, right? Because like play-by-play is still play-by-play. You're saying who's got the puck, who's taking shots. That's not biased, right? I still need that just for the element. You know what I mean? But you guys, she was like, "No, I'm done," and I'm like, "No, turn back." She's like, "No, I don't want to hear it." And like we were, it was feisty because the boy also. By the way, I don't know if everybody knows that our son is actually at his grandparents' house in Tallahassee right now. So we don't even have the boy now to be like, we should stop watching hockey because it's an angry sport. And I'm like, yeah, well, no, that's just me getting upset. But tonight, Mrs. Stash was having at it. So she was muting the TV. I'm like, turn it back on, but I don't want to hear it either. I mean, you're right. They didn't talk about so many of the things that we did. And then at the same time, halfway through, it was easy to start agreeing with them because then we started doing nothing right. So then how do you really get mad? Then you're starting getting mad at our team because then they weren't doing the right things, right? Starting with that Coleman play again and not getting the puck deep and a turnaround to an offensive zone possession for them that eventually turned to that goal.
Yeah. So third period, we didn't even talk about how Stamkos ended the third period with a bloody face because he got cross-checked into the board. Hey, cross-checking happens. Cross-checking happens.
Like, hey, cross-checking happens. They've been getting away with it all game.
It wasn't malicious.
It wasn't malicious.
Yeah, it was. Ask his face if it was malicious.
And then once again, the "fuck you, Stamkos" chants come out, and then what's their comment? Oh, the crowd's feisty.
Yeah.
At the end of last game, whenever Goudreau, right, was it Goudreau at the end that had the little bit of a cross check, right? And they were like, "Oh, you don't need that. It's an 8-0 game." I think that's, or maybe it was Coleman. It was somebody from that line. Well, we don't need that. That doesn't belong in the game. Blah 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 blah. But then literally chanting "F you" to a player, they're fine with. They don't call. Oh, that's not right. What? That's not classy. That's not.
Well, they did it game 3 too, and they chanted "Fuck you, Tampa."
Right, and they just ignore it. They're not. Oh, you know what? This is a ruckus crowd, but there's really no room in the game for that.
Oh no, they did call him out for this shit at the end. They're throwing beer bottles and whatever they can at their own team at the end of the game.
Like, so, and here's a tweet by Callahan about that. Good thing the Islanders won that game. Fans tried injuring them with beer cans after the game. Imagine if they lost. What would have happened?
Yeah.
Dumb.
The
dumb.
handshake?
Hashtag Tampa and 7.
Yeah. Crazy. Can we just take an oath? Can we just take an oath for everyone out there? Let's never do this in Tampa. What we saw at the end of that game, just throwing stuff on the ice. I mean, come on, New York.
It's ridiculous.
But what do you expect? It's New York.
It's fucking. It's a Coliseum, right? Right.
Yeah.
Where's Race at tonight? I don't see him here. It's the New York Mets or the Iceman.
He just commented a minute ago. Oh. No, right. No, we didn't. Sorry.
I was trying to keep up with this. Someone asked a question that I wanted to address, but let's finish the breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want to say about the third period? The Bolts took a penalty. New York took a penalty. Nothing was really happening. The Lightning had 2 penalties. They really didn't get anything going till the last part of that last penalty.
Let's talk about those. Let's talk about those power plays and those initial face-off draws. That both were clean wins for the Lightning, and then a mysterious whistle. But the referee blew it dead, and then they had to redraw. And both times, the first time the Lightning did get the win, but it wasn't as clean of a win, and the Islanders were able to get in the middle of it and disrupt it, and then that basically broke up the momentum. And then in the second power play, it was as clear as day. It was the cleanest win I've seen in a face-off in like this whole series. And then suddenly a whistle, and then they have to redraw it, and then suddenly the Islanders get the face-off win, and then that's it. They had the momentum. If the Lightning get that clean face-off win like they did and keep it in, that changes the entire game. And it's a tie game at that point, but it changes the whole game. It changes the momentum. It changes the crowd. It changes everything. And for some reason, there's a phantom whistle, and that's the number one thing I have a problem with. And I don't want to get on this whole train of the referees and blah 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 blah, because that's not really our show. That's not what we do. That's not what we're about. But what the hell are the rules in the face-off circle for blowing the whistle? Like, it was a clear win. But anyways, you're right. We didn't do our job on the power play. We had the opportunity with the lead multiple times, but we didn't do our job, right?
Yeah. By the way, they kept talking about how Coleman would have had a clean look. He totally got taken out here.
Right.
But you know,
No.
tripping interference happens, right?
It was coming from behind. It was the play coming from behind there. Whenever
Yeah.
Coleman would have had the look.
Hey, so I need everyone to do me a favor. Put your hashtag We the Thunder back in the chat because my giveaway thing does not look right. It says we only have 4 entries, which I can't be true. So hashtag We the Thunder. Put it in there again, even if you already put it earlier, because something's up with that. And something was up with the Lightning because they just could not put it together this third period. And it almost seemed like that shitty ass building was trying to help the Islanders because in the third period they got those crazy ass bounces like right in front of our net,
right on cue. Remember those old Buffalo Wild Wings commercials, right?
Yeah,
that's what I felt like. That's what I feel like this series is. Every time the Lightning had momentum or a lead in that building, suddenly the fucking asshole bartender at Buffalo Wild Wings is hitting that red button and like making something happen. So he can make a few extra bucks behind the bar. Like it was almost laughable for a little while, you know. But again, at the same time, I called both of the goals. We were talking in the chat, in our little chat we have, and I said, hey, right away, if they keep giving in that first goal they gave up, if they keep letting them have rush after rush, eventually, and there was like 3 chances that they had that they didn't convert on that should have been the first goal that they scored. And it was like a 3-minute span. And then right after that, I'm like, if they don't stop just giving up chances, they're gonna eventually this is gonna cash in, and boom, score the goal. And then the second goal was the exact same way. It was the exact same scenario.
Well, I thought in the third period they really stopped playing aggressively on defense. They were letting these guys just skate around their zone, and I'm like, why are you just going to let Barzal and Belleve, like all these guys are just skating around, making opportunities, and we're not stepping up to do anything about it. And like we've seen it, that's when the Lightning lose when they play like that. Well, so let's just go to overtime real quick. It lasted a minute, right? The Coleman turnover ended the game. Again, we'll say it again for people that missed it at the beginning. Coleman, worst game tonight as a Bolt by far.
Of a Bolt sweater, and maybe his career. Back-to-back games in New York. Terrible games for Pickles in New York. Good thing we're coming home, right?
Yeah.
Good thing we're coming home because Pickles played.
Maybe he's just homesick away from that new baby.
The baby. I know what it's like, man. I had to call them. Listen. Middle of first to second period, we had to call Tallahassee and talk to the boy, and he's like, I want to come home. And I'm like, it's just because it's been shitty weather and it's raining up there and he can't go ride the tractor. I know that's all. My boy can't ride the John Deere. He starts getting crazy. But yeah, you know.
Point says the reason they lost the third period is because they ran out of speed and the Islanders didn't. They seemed a lot faster and took advantage of it.
Yeah. So losing that one man did really hurt the Lightning. And I know NBC kind of brought it up, and they brought up a good point that the Lightning are used to playing with 7 defenders and less forwards. But
like
when one of those guys is Cooch, who last postseason's like taking double shifts, it's a totally different story, which, you know, they didn't bring that up at all.
No, like I said, it's different when if it's your fourth line guy that is the scratch and not your best player in the playoffs and almost in the history of the playoffs. This guy, sorry.
That's what pissed me off the most. Not to beat a dead horse here, but they show this graphic, and then this star player about to break Gretzky records is knocked out of the game.
Knocked out of the game.
That's what the NHL feels about their star players.
And then like cross checks happen. Like
well, how about when they made sure to say how Trotz had been down 2 games to us before as a coach of the Capitals, and then came on to win the cup that same year. So,
well, of course, that's what they talk about. They don't talk about how, you know, Sorelli put them out. And well, they did mention that actually. They did mention that earlier when he scored the goal. But you know, Trotz obviously is going to be listen, I think if they could put a flak jacket on, Amos just asked if we believe Cooch will be back for Game 7. Even if it's a broken rib, if they could put some extra protection there, he's gonna try. I'll tell you that. If it's a severely broken rib, I don't know, man. That was a bad place to take a full cross check from, regardless of how it. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
There you go, Rob. Rob always with the good insight here. Keith Jones, this is an awesome quote from NBC. I hope Keith Jones is not getting a job at ESPN or TNT or wherever the fuck they're playing NHL games next year. He's been a beast going after some of the star players on Tampa Bay and gets rewarded for it.
Right.
That should not happen.
I thought that was the opposite of what the NHL is trying to do. Like,
Well,
right?
we saw Barzell take out a guy with the last game, and we saw him still play this game. So I don't know what to think. I know a lot of people are asking what's Cooch's status. They're not saying anything.
We don't know.
No.
They can't say anything.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to come on like Stammer did last year, score a goal, go back off. We're going to win the game, win the cup.
Oh,
I'm worried.
I'm worried if Chernet can't come back, that's what I'm worried about. I'm telling you right now. That's my worry. I'm not worried about Cooch because I think Cooch can come back if we make to the finals. I think Cooch comes back. Okay. Yes. Game 7, probably not. But who needs to come back the most is Chernak.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to. I mean, I guess just having that extra skater will help, but they need to find whatever they had out there for that 8-0 game, and make sure it happens again. Because if they lose this game, that'll be a devastating loss. I mean, that'll be the third time we've lost in the Eastern Conference Final in about 5 years. I think less than 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know what? This team only can blame themselves because they could have been a dynasty. So again, Stammer needs to get up there. Hedman needs to get up in front of these guys, and have a players only meeting. They know how good they are. They know that they're better. Does anyone think that the Islanders are a better team than the Lightning?
Not me. I told you guys that in our chat. I told you right now, the Lightning are the better team. They are the better team.
No, we've seen the Lightning beat themselves. All the games they've lost so far in the playoffs, including this one. So, does anyone out there want to call in? I mean, I'm going to put the number in there or the link in there. But if somebody says they want to call in the chat, I'll throw it out there.
So basically, Steven Pudicombe is asking us. Where's the? I'm sorry, that's the wrong question. Here it is. What changed between tonight's game and the last game with the Lightning? And I think, I think we talked about it. I think that we talked about the fact that the Islanders are better at playing desperate hockey. The Lightning need to go back and remember, like you talked about, Shitter, that series when we lost to the Capitals, and then they went in to win the cup. And then that's it. You talk about when we lose those ECFs. How many times did we lose to actual Stanley Cup champions, right? And then we get to the finals and we lost to the Stanley. We continue to lose to the eventual champs if we don't win, right? So now this is the time. This is the time to go back, dig deep, figure out. Come home, and let's play Lightning hockey for 60 minutes. And then we'll talk about all this other bullshit going into the next series, right? Because I'm done talking about the referees. I'm done talking about the broadcast. The Lightning were up 2-0 halfway through the game, and that's when the Lightning set up shop and closed it up. And they didn't do it tonight. And that's the bottom line. That's the headline from tonight.
I want to address this one from apparently YouTube from Glowbug27. Okay, so this is what fans always have to revert back to is when they were good and they've won so many cups and everything else. You got to understand, Tampa Bay Lightning is the defending Stanley Cup champions, and until somebody beats us, we are still the champions. So what's that saying? In order to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. So let's not talk about
be the best. You got to beat the best.
Right. Also, the Islanders have been around a lot longer than the Tampa Bay Lightning.
little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't think there was any plans for hockey in Florida back in 1981 or whenever the hell the Islanders were getting.
19, yeah.
I see a couple Islanders fans in the chat, and just to be fair, we're
Let's
calling the refereeing bad both ways. We called out the Coleman cheap shot earlier that was not called. The refereeing has been bad, and I watch all the games, not just the Lightning games, all around. And I don't understand why we still get the same refs in these higher levels. We're getting the same guys who are making bad calls.
Well,
listen, I made a comment on social media a couple days ago talking about how all of the professional sports leagues in America need to get past this infallibility concept of their judges or referees or umpires or whatever they are. This infallibility concept that our judges are so infallible that they can't be taken to task, they can't be called out, they can't be held accountable. It's ridiculous. It's egregious, and it's killing sports in America right now. I'm telling you right now, it's killing baseball. It's definitely having a huge effect in baseball right now.
Yeah, you've seen two players almost stripped down naked on the mound last week.
Right. The NBA, it happens time and time again. It has killed that league. Look at the NFL. How much has officiating changed that game, or lack thereof, in the inconsistency? And now we're seeing it once again in the NHL on the highest platform, and in a league that arguably might have the most traction out of all the professional sports leagues in America right now. They might have the best opportunity to really take a chance at going for the throne that is the NFL. And yet here we are still talking about officiating. And it's not just us. It's not just us as a Lightning fan base. It's every fan base out there that is talking about officiating.
Well, you have Wes McCauley, who's injured, so he's not even he was knocked out. You have Chris Lee, who's the guy from tonight, who basically got booted from Vegas and was told not to come back for a Vegas game. And
so
now
why is he here?
Because he couldn't go to Vegas. And they put Dwyer as the backup judge for referee for us today. I would rather have Dwyer in. The two that called the game for
Sharon tonight, because at least we know what kind of inconsistency
we're
going to get.
Sharon was the backup tonight. Right. It would have been Dwyer and Sharon. But then the Sutherland and the other one that called last night's Las Vegas game is going to be the same refs tomorrow night for their game. They're doing back-to-back games because they don't have enough refs right now.
Rod. Okay, so first of all, I gotta give James is right. Ludeman's right. MLB is probably a little bit better of how they do it in the way that the league votes, and then they get like the way they grade, because all the leagues do grade the referees going into the playoffs. Every single league does it the same way to a point, right? The MLB is probably a little bit better, but Rob nails it right here. Rob Peterman nails it. The refs need accountability in front of the mic, just like players and coaches. It's ridiculous that they get this God complex or this totalitarian authority or this omniscient authority to be like, oh, we're untouchable. Anything we do, don't even ask us about it. Now, I don't want them to get nagged. I mean, it's a slippery slope, right? It's a slippery slope if you're allowed to nitpick these guys, because then suddenly their credibility is nothing. But at the same time, there needs to be a little bit of more accountability, at least from the fans' perspective, from all of the governing bodies of the professional leagues in this country with their officiating. There needs to be more transparency, and there needs to be more accountability. Period.
Yeah. Well, I'm done talking about the refs, man. The Lightning.
I'm sorry.
I'm holding the Lightning accountable. I mean, I had my problems with the refs tonight, but the Lightning, you can't blow 2-0 lead. And again, if they lose Game 7, that is a devastating loss for this team, even though we won the Cup last year. I don't think they will. I think they're going to come out really strong in Game 7. And I see a lot of people complaining about NBC and stuff. I think the thing about NBC and the NHL probably is they love a Game 7, baby. They love a Game 7, and they got one.
It doesn't matter the market. They love a Game 7. But also, this is the other thing I was talking about earlier, too. Talking about markets in the NHL. we're talking about the NHL, everybody. Okay, we're still talking about NHL market. We're not talking about football market. We're not talking about the other sports markets. It's not even in places like New York and Boston versus Tampa. It's not as big of a disparity as you all think it is because the NHL playoffs just don't grab a market share like all the other teams' playoffs do.
Yeah, like
and
football.
Right, and we're also competing against the Olympics right now too. And personally, as much as I love hockey, we need the Olympics more than we need hockey right now because of COVID and everything.
I'm with you because if you look at those like NFL games, they're always like the number one spot, no matter what they're up against, and that's really what they're looking for is those really high ratings. With the NHL, you're going to get the hardcore NHL fans that are going to watch the Stanley Cup no matter what, and you're probably going to get the local market.
Right.
And I don't know. I guess New York's a little bit bigger, but I don't think that really matters. I just totally felt from NBC, man, they wanted that game 7, but that's probably money for NBC too to have that extra game. But
I mean, it's funny how many former Tampa Bay players are on that desk roster, right? For NBC, there's so many that used to play for Tampa, and yet it just seems like we don't get the highlights. We don't get the coverage. And
I think we do sometimes. I thought it was awful tonight, though. I always defend NBC. I think somebody had to comment earlier.
Listen, how many shows have we done of this show? How many episodes of this show have we done?
Like 60 or 70.
Yeah, we're close to almost 100. And how many times have we ever gotten this hard or this deep on refs and broadcasting? Never. This is the first time we've ever really gone this deep and this hard on it. So.
Here's Joe's comment. I guarantee you're right, Joe. I bet Vegas wins, and I bet they get a couple calls tomorrow that go their way. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know, Stash. I know you were saying this is gonna be a long show, but I'm like, I just want to go to bed now and maybe cry. No, I'm not that tore up about it, but disappointing loss. I mean, I expected more from this team being up 2-0, especially after we saw them all season not blow a lead in the third period. Of course, you don't have overtime in the off season.
Yeah, but still, one loss, and that was against Florida in that first series that we had a lead in the second period, and we didn't win. That's one time. Tonight is a tough one because that game was a lot closer than this one was. It really was for the first 30 minutes, right? The first half of hockey, the Islanders came out the first 5 minutes and they played hard, and we looked like we were waiting. We talked about it in the chat. The Lightning were a little bit on their heels to start the game, but then they turned it on, and for the next 25 minutes or so, they were the better team, hands down, the better team. And then suddenly, halfway through that second period, they started playing safe, and whether they got gassed or maybe they were making line changes that they weren't used to, and so they were just trying to not make a bad change, That's something we didn't talk about, is that when Cooch goes and now you're not sure who's going out on that top line because Coop was doing a good job of trying to rotate. Sometimes that happens, and while you have a lot of momentum and you're playing hard, but then suddenly you have to think about who you're going out on the ice with, right? Because when the Lightning are playing their best hockey, it's whenever they're just eat, sleep, rinse, repeat, right? That's what they do. Well, they couldn't do that tonight because it was the top line that they were trying to figure out who's going out on that pairing. And then even that second line, if you guys, if everyone watched and paid attention, that line kind of moved around. And the third line, like all those pairings on the top 3 lines, really all 4 lines, they all started shuffling. So maybe those guys just weren't quite comfortable getting out and doing it all. You know what I mean?
You got to imagine Trotz is going to do Friday what he did on Game 4. He's going to shuffle around Sajak and them to the different lines because that ended up getting them the win. So,
he didn't do
game one. I'm sorry, Game 1 against Tampa, because now we have last changes. So.
Well, like I said, I think this team is okay without Cooch, but if Chernak can't come back, then, maybe Ty gets his wish. and they go 11-7, and Foot gets to come in, and they just establish somebody on that top line in place of Kucherov, right? Because that's what needs to happen. They can go 11-7 if they know Kucherov isn't there, you know. And you saw a couple of candidates played well on that top line. I personally think it'd be okay to slot Yanni up.
He played well
on that
tonight.
top line, and then maybe move Johnson up to that third line, and then have like a couple of guys do double duty for that fourth line spot if they go 11-7. So
I'd like to just see Cooch come back.
You would? You're alone. You're the only person in the one who would like to see Cooch come back.
That's the plan. When is the game? I didn't even really think we'd get to
8 o'clock.
Right. Friday at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in Amelie, who's got tickets?
I will have me. I just told Mrs. Stash, money's in the bank. I don't care what people bitch about, resell, whatever else. We were supposed to have family dinner night and everything else. Nope. Tonight or Friday night, hockey comes first. I think we're going to be down there to beat the Thunder.
Yeah, Rob, another good point here. They did go 11-7 a lot last year with Stamkos out.
Yeah. But like I said, when they know it on the fly, I think it was pretty challenging, especially when it's Kucherov, because he's on the top line. Again, Stamkos is second line. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And James is saying 20% on the power play without Cooch this season, 40% with him in the playoffs. It showed on the 2 power plays they got. They couldn't get anything going until that second one towards the end, and they only got 3 shots. So
nobody wanted actually a quarterback it, and that's what's weird to me because it used to be Hedman. Hedman used to be super comfortable at the top there with the puck, making plays happen. So
yeah, if the Bolts do not pull off winning the cup this season, I gotta look at Hetty. I mean, this is not the Hetty that played last season. You know, we talked a lot about him being injured, but he's also had a couple games where he does look like Conn Smythe Hetty. So, I mean, I'm looking at Hetty and Stamkos and obviously Point to really carry this team over the finish line.
That's one thing. Hey, Killer's been playing his ass off. I thought Killer played his ass off tonight again. I thought he was one of the best guys last game. I thought he was one of the best guys tonight. But let's talk about
playing good and scoring is 2 different things.
Well, hey,
he
was close. Listen,
okay, but saying Killor did a good game tonight, you'd have to score to win a game. If we lose a game 7, we can't say, well, Killorn played a good game. But we lost the game.
I don't disagree with you, but there were other guys, I believe, we talked about already that were way more worthy of being like, you need to play better. Killer has been playing his best hockey the last 3 or 4 games. And Point, man, we talk a lot about how Kucherov is like the best guy on this team and he sets a lot of things up. But, man, Braden Point is freaking phenomenal. That guy does not get enough credit for how good he is and how cool he is. Exactly. Here it is, dude. This is insane. Look at the numbers. Look at the years on that list.
Beat that guy. Years. Never heard of this guy. Never heard of this guy. Who's that guy?
It's not even that there's a 2, right, at the year, right? Because all the other ones are 1s. 19s.
And all but one of them are in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
It's not that even that it's the 19s versus the 20s. It's that's not even like a 99 on that list. 96, 1996, 2021. That's the difference. And then look how much all those guys are, right? Look at that. 90, 91, 92, 96, 95, 97. Look at that cluster of whenever the rules were different and they had super teams and there was no freaking salary cap where it was a different cap era. What, you know what I'm saying? Dude, that right there, that's incredible. That is incredible. Right?
Here's the problem, though. Without Cooch out there for Game 7, Braden Point's got a huge target on his back. I mean, it
but
didn't
he still
stop him
scored.
from scoring
Hey, I'm
tonight.
telling you right now, they're playing a physical game right now, and Braden Point and Tyler Johnson aren't that different in size and stature. And Johnson is out there playing his best game, and that's one thing again I saw about a selling point for him coming into the Seattle expansion is that guy plays all the way. Johnson is never afraid to hit somebody 3 times the size. Johnson will make that hit. The difference is that the Point is about his size. I mean, he's a little bit bigger. He's about his same size, but he plays a completely different game, dude. That guy plays bigger than he is, and his skills are just out of this universe, man. And Cooch can be out. That's not going to hurt us. I don't think it is. I think the power play could be okay if we know he's gone. That's all I'm saying. And Johnson bounced off, and absolutely, we saw right now. Johnson plays hard, and he bounced off some of those hits and gets right back up. And that's the thing, you could cheer for a hit, but who made the better play on the puck? The Lightning usually did, and for the first half of the game they were, and then the second half of the game they weren't making the better play on the puck after those hits. So, but damn, I'm just gonna say again, Brandon Point, that's the best player on our team. Kucherov,
well, there's no doubt they get him the puck.
Brandon
next
Point is our best.
He's going to be shooting for the net.
No, they can't. They can't do that though. They got to focus on winning the game. Like they can't just try to get Point this record. You know what I mean?
I know, but it's going to make him shoot at the puck, at the net more.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Shooting the puck more would be nice. I thought our passing was just awful tonight. I mean,
late. It was late for sure.
On the boards, we were slow getting to loose pucks. We were not winning those battles. And the crazy part is we won them all last game. We won them all. And we had, like I said earlier, we had 77 odd man rushes. And tonight we had, I think we really only had 1 or 2.
3. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. That was the difference, is that we were about that 0.3 of a second difference in that decision making. You know? And I saw that in all 3 of the losses that the Lightning have had. That's the difference between the 3 wins they've had in this series, is that literally split second decision making as soon as the puck gets on your stick. And I will say a lot of that hesitancy has come in New York, where the ice is trash, the boards are trash, the glass is trash. All of that. They're not quite sure what play to make, maybe because they're not there. So I'm hoping that they get home and the familiarity of their own boards and their own phenomenal ice here in fucking Central Florida gives them the confidence to make those split-second decisions a split second sooner.
Shooter, I know you wanna do that giveaway, but real quick, there's I don't know if you guys have been watching the comments, but there's big arguments going on YouTube. But can you imagine, from Joel Forslund on the YouTube, can you imagine how big a star point would be in the NFL if he was in a big market? Well, let's see. Tell me how that's worked out for Tavares. It hasn't gotten him a cup. How has that worked for the bread man? How has that happened for many big names that went for the money and went for the big markets and still has no cup to their name? So Point, I think, is doing just fine in a smaller market. He does become a restricted free agent after next season.
He makes a good point, but think about how big of a stars half of our roster would be. Stamkos in Toronto, right? Hedman in New York at the Rangers, right? Even though we took their captain and he's a better defenseman here than he ever was there. Kucherov in LA, you know, whatever market it is, all of our players are superstar players anywhere else.
That right there, Derek hit it on the head. Pointer's too much of a private guy. I mean, the man didn't even announce he got married on purpose.
Right.
Because
hockey players are private guys, as opposed to all the other leagues. Like we talk about, hockey players are way more private guys. They're blue collar guys. They love being on the ice and playing and performing and doing what they do on the ice and in the arena when they're in their pads and in their sweater. As soon as they leave the property, and our guys are great because they like to engage with fans, but as soon as they leave, they just want to go be average guys living their lives, right? And
Well,
that's
Tampa's always had those
Tampa
kind of
gives you
guys.
that ability, right? Tampa will always give those superstar type of athletes the space they need to be to live the millionaire life, but not have the mega market pressure.
We've never had a Crosby. Crosby loves the attention. You know, Crosby.
Look at Stamkos.
Panarin said that was the reason he went to New York, because he wanted the endorsement deal.
Stamkos could have easily gone to Toronto and been that guy. And what did he do? He stayed here. And salary cap or a state tax and all that stuff. Oh, he took less money because of state tax. No, he took less money because this is the place to play hockey if you're a true blue collar guy and you want to have the Robin Leach lifestyle, but you don't want to have the New York media pressure.
No, Joel, I understand you were saying he should go to front when he doesn't want to be the front guy. I think Hoyt potentially has the potential of being a captain of this team in the future. But he doesn't want the attention. Neither does Kucherov. Kucherov, if he went to a big market and he had the chance to,
he would never do it.
He hates the media.
Cooch wouldn't go to LA. Cooch would never go to LA ever. He would never go to LA. And I would say right now, Stamkos, they did have Stamkos poised to be a bit of a poster boy for the NHL, but then he got that bullshit the broken leg, and then right after that he had the vascular issue with and so I just feel like if it wasn't for that, we might have had that huge. And again, I think the main reason that the Islanders chant "fuck you, Stamkos" is because they're pissed that Tavares isn't there right now. And I've said this before. I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see those childhood best friends wearing the same number playing each other right now. In the last 2 seasons, Eastern Conference Finals, Islanders and Lightning, and it should have been Tavares versus Stamkos. It should have been, But
Tavares took the number 91 from him on his own dad's team.
Yeah, I know. But they're still best friends.
Yep.
Hey guys, we got a comment from YouTube here. Just got back from work. Last I heard, the Lightning were up 2-0. WTF happened? Let's just restart. Let's restart the show.
Wait,
just listen to the
hour.
replay.
Take a bathroom break. I'll get a couple beers. Let's do it again.
Just forget about if you don't know what happened in Game 6. Just pretend like it never fucking happened.
Just get ready for Game 7. Yeah, just pretend like Game 7 is Game 6.
Yeah. Hey, let's give away a T-shirt. Let's make something positive happen tonight. Smack Sports. This is your choices. Back to boat. 5 games away from going back to the boat parade. The Bay of Champions and the Big Cat shirt. And let's do a drawing. So last chance. Hashtag We the Thunder. You got about 5 seconds to get in. Here we go. Let's do it.
The guy that won it for Islanders said the beginning of overtime, it smelled like cigarettes. The end of overtime, it smelled like beer.
That's disgusting.
Linda Barrett.
All right, Linda. That's awesome. Congratulations, Linda. Shoot us a message and we'll get you that shirt. I know you are always here, so I'm glad you won. We'll get that shirt out to you as soon as possible. And we got a Game 7 on Friday. Thomas, what are your expectations?
Vasi locks it down. We're gonna be out for blood. Emily's gonna rock, and we take it and move on to the Stanley Cup. Like we said before, they want to win it on home ice.
Yes, perfect planning. Yeah, you missed all that home ice love and celebration last year within the bubble. Now you get that Game 7 excitement at home. I'm with you. I really think the Bolts will take a 180 and really come out firing in Game 7. But I just get worried because in a Game 7, it's going to be tight. They're not going to call shit. We're not going to get power plays, maybe one. No, and that's why I'm worried because Game 7 can really go either way. But I do expect the Bolts to really come out after what happened and knowing how they perform after a loss.
Yeah.
The whole crew plus Bassey, I expect them to come out pretty sharp on Friday and win the game.
I think the number one stat right now to talk about the Lightning is, we talked about the wins when having a lead after 2 periods. We've talked about shutouts. We've talked about everything else. I still think the number one stat to look at here is not having back-to-back losses. We beat the Islanders twice in a row. That was the biggest difference in the series. I don't think they can beat the Lightning twice in a row. So if you that's what I'm putting my foundation going into Game 7 on, is back-to-back losses, not Tampa Bay.
Cool.
And we get a shutout, and we wanted a shutout, right? Because
we get another 8.
Yeah, didn't think Bassey was going to have back-to-back shutouts. A lot of us didn't. I did, I believe, but then maybe I believed too hard. But yeah, I think that here we go. We got an opportunity in our barn. Shutout Bassey, Game 7. Let's do it.
All right. Anything else?
Go Bolts.
We need Cherney.
We need him. All right. Well, we'll be back Friday night after the game. We'll either be crying or we'll be toasting to the Bolts, going for 2 straight in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. So until then, this is We the Thunder. If you're going to be at Amalie Arena, you better not forget to be the motherfucking Thunder.